Hello everyone. I know that I'm a little late to the Picard Season 1 bandwagon, but I just wanted to make a quick video explaining a theory I have that could explain why we see the fleet that we see in the season finale of the show, and how they are all the same ship. Given that Star Trek Picard has been out for several months already, I am assuming that everyone that wants to has seen the show, and that a spoiler warning is not necessary. But in the event that you have yet to see Star Trek Picard and don't want it spoiled, then this probably is not the video for you. Now, with that out of the way, I assume that you know the problem I am referring to when I talk of Starfleet in the show's finale. In the episode, Riker arrives to save the day with a vast armada of starships behind him to drive off a similarly massive Romulan armada. Every vessel of this new fleet seemingly of the exact same class. Keeping my thoughts of the show in general out of the picture, my biggest issue with this sequence was Starfleet itself. When we last see the fleet in the final episode of Deep Space Nine, Starfleet is a vast organization with many classes of ship in service, ranging from the older Excelsior and Miranda classes, to the highly advanced and cutting-edge Sovereign and Akira classes. All of these vessels are absent from the fleet which Riker leads to confront the Romulans, with the entire force seemingly consisting of 200+ nearly identical new ships, making the final scenes of the series' first season really something of a letdown, if not a total disappointment. Many people have wondered where the rest of Starfleet is. Even if the oldest ships in the fleet have been retired by this point, Starfleet should still have many different classes of ships in service. Not only those built during the Dominion War, but several newer classes as well, other than those that we have seen in the show. The channel Neon Visual has produced a video showing the type of Starfleet which, I think, we all assumed would come to the rescue in the finale. Definitely look it up if that interests you. But anyway, this video is not about what should have been, or my feelings on the scene. Now, the fact is that barring any retcons in a Trek show, Picard Season 2 or another series, that Starfleet at the time of Picard seems to be comprised, at least in large part, of 3 practically identical looking classes of large cruiser-sized ships. This raises several immediate questions, such as where the older classes of ships are. Decommissioned is unlikely given their age and the length of time such ships as the Miranda, Excelsior, Oberth, and Centaur served with Starfleet. Rendered obsolete, perhaps. Again, the lengths of service that other ships enjoyed seems to preclude this possibility, and we have also seen ships endure massive refits to bring them up to date for continued service. Namely, the Constitution refit of the 2270s. The truth is that these existing classes of ships are probably still in service in other parts of the Federation. But this explanation still begs the question why it suddenly seems as if Starfleet has hundreds of practically identical starships in service by the late 24th century. My own headcanon for this is that the fleet we see in Picard is comprised of vessels that are replicated. Essentially, this is the next step forward in starship production, and a logical extrapolation of replicator technology which we have seen in Trek since TNG. The theory goes thusly. During the Dominion War, Starfleet, faced with a brutal attritional struggle where large numbers of ships were seen as necessary to achieve victory, began a program looking at the possibility of replicating starships on a mass scale. The war was over before any major progress had been made, but there was enough promise in the program that Starfleet continued it into the post-war period, eyeing such threats as the Borg, a renewed Dominion conflict, as well as the Romulan and Klingon empires with weary eyes. Eventually, after much effort, a functional design was developed, a cruiser-sized proof of concept, existing designs such as the Akira being unsuitable due to limitations with the technology. This design was finalized and a few working prototypes were built before the synth attack on Mars wiped out much of Starfleet's centralized orbital dockyards. Following this attack, Starfleet hurriedly began a crash program to fully introduce replicated vessels into the fleet. This took time though, as the tech was still new and untested, and a force had only barely entered service in 2399 when Riker called up and requested a fleet to come and save his former captain. Is this theory totally solid and unassailable? No. There are likely several flaws to it that I have not considered. But it is an explanation which not only explains the potential flaw away, but also adds richness and development to the world of Trek in what I think is an interesting way. And really, I think that working up theories like this is half the fun of being a Trek fan. So what's the harm? So that's my theory. Please do let me know what you think of it, and also your thoughts on Star Trek Picard, or Trek in general. I always like talking Trek, as is obvious I suppose by this video. Also remember to like and share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and goodbye.